There we go. Hey. All right, here we go. We're jumping into what we're calling turns. Turn number 2 in the signal to strength system. This is the second chapter in the book, Signal to Strength, from couch to elite level athlete in 12 weeks. At least that gives you, and that's for your age group, of course. That gives you the framework of all the things that you need to think about and consider in changing your behaviors to align yourself with somebody who, after 12 weeks, may not be an elite level athlete for your age group yet. However, you have taken major strides and have covered all of the bases that are required. May not be an exhaustive list. Some steps might need to be more granular or broken up. Some may take up more space than they need to. We're not letting perfect get in the way of good. We're going into turn 2. So when I think about turns, I think about spiraling upwards, going through peeling the onion, but peeling the onions, you're going inside. This is going upwards. Think like a helix, turning up, or taking steel. If you were going to make some Damascus or powerful folded steel, you would keep folding and turning the blade and keep pounding it till it got more and more purified, adding heat, adding pressure. So turn 2, vision, core values, your why, and your mission. And as a matter of fact, and this is one of those things just with the writing assistant that I used, I actually would say it's in the other order. Mission is at the top. Your why is your purpose right underneath that. Below that is core values, and below that is vision. So however you want to look at it, scaling up vision. What is the vision that you have for your life? That is what we talked about in the previous chapter where we were talking about establishing baselines. Baselines give us that point A. Oh, well, yeah, I got, I have a grip strength of 50 pounds. I don't know what that means. I can't do any pull-ups. I can do 5 push-ups, right? Those are your baselines. So that from there, we say, well, what's the ideal? Well, I'd like to be able to do 10 pull-ups. I'd like to be able to do 50 push-ups. I don't know what my grip strength should be, but if we test again after doing some pull-ups and push-ups for the next 6 weeks, I should imagine that grip strength will go up, and it will, especially if you're hanging off that bar. So core values, and look, these are things, this is the key thing, and this is why I'm doing these videos. Standalone vision, core values, why statement, and mission. They sound like corporate things. They sound like things that people study in school, but then they don't apply. And then somebody comes in and says, you're in a work environment. And they say, oh, you know what? Here's our new mission statement for the company. And it's kind of just like, great. We at Burger King, our mission is to, create joy and happiness by flame broiling a Whopper, right? So maybe that's fine. Maybe that works for them. But I don't know if it necessarily gets anybody on their, it works for their marketing department or HR department, but I don't know if that gets anybody at the company excited about whatever the mission may be. Getting these into alignment, though, I feel has power when done over time, just like training has power when done over time. If I do one great workout, it doesn't amount to anything. I don't get in shape from one workout. It's about doing it over and over again. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, but when you take baselines like we did in the last chapter, you then think about what your ideal is. That's your vision. Your vision would be, I have this amount of strength, I have this amount of conditioning, I have, my physique looks like this, these are the type of places I'm going, these are the things I'm doing, these are the things that I have, this is what my home looks like, this is what my spouse looks like, this is what my family looks like, this is what my career looks like, right? All of these things kind of, Tony Robbins says there's a wheel, and every one of these things in your life, categories in your life, is a spoke on the wheel. So you've got, your, like I just said, your career, family, income, creativity, time with friends, et cetera, health, well-being, all those things, right? Meditation, spirituality, all that stuff. If any one of those things is out of balance or non-existent, you basically have a wheel, kind of like a pie or spokes on a wheel that are missing, or ones are longer than the others, or stronger or sturdier than the others. So you have this odd-shaped, malformed wheel that can't really spin. Your life spins fastest and gathers the most momentum when all things are firing, and you've got that wheel in balance. So let's just dig into this a little bit further. I'm kind of riffing here, freestyling a little bit more maybe than I should be, because I have stuff laid out here for you guys. So turn 2, vision, core values, why, and mission. This is a mindset identity pillar, meaning we're trying to lay foundations at a core psychological level, a beingness level. If you think about, you want to have a body, what do you have to do? You have to do a lot of exercise, you have to make good food choices, etc. But who do you have to be? You have to be an athlete. And if you don't conceive of yourself as an athlete, it's a bit of a jump if you're completely desk-bound and couch-bound. But there is some version of you somewhere that can be an athlete. And getting into the routine and the rhythm of the doingness will allow you to have. It's be, do, have, right? Be is at the top. Who do you want to be? You write that down. That's like a vision. And then what do you need to do? And when you do that, you'll have the body, the energy, all the good things that come with it. So we're trying to develop awareness here, and it's these tools, the vision, core values, why statement, and mission, in and of themselves, stand alone, don't do anything really great. But it's kind of like any tool by itself isn't really great. It's when you have all the tools in the tool belt, so to speak, you can really get some things done. So I want you to show up. Oh, darn it. I wanted to, every time I do one of these, I want to do a voice memo so that I can take anything that I might have divulged to you on these live videos, and I can actually codify it into the book, because the book is being written and rewritten until I release the app. So the app is the basically interactive version of the book. It's a curriculum built into a digital app structure that allows you to not only do the best workouts that you could possibly do and have an interactive feature like working with a personal trainer, it's also delivering to you these turns. And so turn 2, vision, core values, why, mission, is, like I said, this is about establishing an identity and showing up. And technically, by showing up and by starting a fitness program, you already have a mission. You've already defined it. You've already started doing something. You've started going to the gym. You've started researching. You're behaving in such a way that means that you have some sort of reason for doing it. It may not be easy to dig that up. That's where we can kind of get into our core values. It's like, well, why, and our why statement. What do you believe in? Like, what matters to you? You're going to the gym. Why are you going to the gym? Well, tired of being fat, lazy, low energy, body aches. I know that if I moved my body more, I would feel better. But feeling better, you can feel better, getting a massage. You could feel better getting one good night's sleep. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is the reason for getting out of bed. My reason for getting out of bed, aside from wanting to be able to convey messages to a large group of people and have a larger impact in the world. And I think that goes into the deep levels of me wanting to create significance with my life and feel like what I did on this earth mattered, and at the same time provide a great living for myself and be able to provide opportunities for my kids and other people that I mentor to do the same. So, an expanding, forward-thinking mentality that only is going to benefit me as I exist today and future generations. So, just looking at some notes here. So again, this is a structure that you're building. You start off with the baselines. You're thinking about your ideal future. That ideal basically starts to form a vision. We're sketching this out. We're saying, well, what things matter to you? Do you get up early? Do you finish what you started? Are you somebody that likes having commitments? Are you somebody that blows stuff off and has a hard time finishing what they start? Are you consistent? Are you reliable? Do you really love people? Do you really are you somebody that values being healthy into your old age? All those type of things, are at play in coming up with what your core values are. And I would even argue you could probably, I have a piece to this that I'll release in the book, and that is that what you do is you go to truity.com, Truity, something like that, Truity, and take a personality test. I don't even care which one. There's like the big 5, there's the big 3, the 7, the whatever. You're gonna take a personality test, and it's gonna give you some sort of feedback. Don't worry about what the feedback is. Take that feedback, put it into your favorite AI assistant, and say, based on what kind of person I am and have come across in this personality test, give me an idea of what my core values would be. What is in alignment with who I am as a human being, as an individual? And you'll be surprised or not surprised. You'll see what it gives you back. Plug that in for your core values. And that also then will start to hint at, why do you do the things you do? What is it you're trying to achieve? And that can then start to kind of hone in on your mission. And I can tell you that my mission is to become a very clear, very well understood systems engineer solving a health and wellness fitness problem. So essentially, how would a systems engineer solve a health and wellness fitness problem? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm attempting to do here. Again, these turns, the 34 odd turns that are the chapters in the book, will eventually be delivered through an app and readable in book form, as well as supported by me in these type of, whether they're lives or they're webinars. I'm going to be communicating this material over and over and over again, because this is called preaching from your own Bible here. So it's interesting with, because I'm now revisiting these notes. The key is, again, that this is looked at as a tool, and that it is a continuum from the bottom to the top. The vision, the core values, the why, and the mission. The mission being the biggest overarching thing. What are you here? What were you put here on this earth to do? And maybe it's even just within the context of health, wellness, and fitness. So why are we doing this? What the heck is going on here? And I think another big why for me, or a big thing for me on my mission, has been to just simply understand what I was put on this on this earth, what this life is all about. What is it all about? And for me, it's been first like trying a lot of things, doing a lot of different things, experimenting, moving to New York and doing stand-up. Well, actually, it goes back to, walking into a martial arts studio in 1998 and just saying, let me try out martial arts. Or even earlier than that, a girlfriend in college saying to me, you know what, you're in engineering, but you're a goofy guy. Like, why don't you be an actor? And that kind of planted a seed of like, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't it be amazing? With one life to live, what would you do with the time? Even if you believe in reincarnation, it's like, well, we're here now. Why don't we get the most out of this one? However you conceive of your afterlife or your, the spirit world, there's still no excuse, as far as I'm concerned, to waste time and to get sidetracked with things that are unimportant or not by your own design, right? So that's where this stuff starts to come in. It's like, how can we build the life that you want rather than the life that somebody else thought up for you, like your parents, or like what you think you're supposed to do, or just trying to do what everybody else does, right? So, you know, there's things that you think that like, maybe I'm supposed to do this because it's just the way the world works. And, I can't be a writer. I can't be a creative person in some way, or whatever it is, whatever the risk is for you. I can't be a lawyer because no one in my family's ever been a lawyer before. And they would all think I'm, this, that, or the other, because it's not in alignment with what they want. So it's like there's expectations that are being put on you, and those are very real and very hard to ignore, and they will do a lot to corral you in different directions, whether you like it or not. And the dominating thoughts in your mind are what are going to determine who you are and what you do. So like, here I am going in on turn 2 with, many, many, many other turns to go to get through this even one time. And that's why I'm here doing this, because anybody that would ever care to go back and watch this silly little video is going to see, oh, he was doing it then. He was doing it then, and I can now see why, when he did it week in and week out, he got better. He learned his own material and his own shtick, which is what happens when you get on stage a bunch and stand up. But that's not the story. I'm like trying to not story tell here. I'm trying to stick to the script. What I'm realizing is here, though, actually, is that this is not as complete as I thought it was. It's just a summary of what the chapter is supposed to be. And so hopefully the things that come out from the dictated, from the capture of the voice memo, that I'll be able to upgrade the chapter a little bit. So it's iterative. The process is iterative. And so apparently don't have a smoothie like right before you get on camera. Like, call me Burpee McBurperson right now. It's ridiculous. So, and I'm gonna beat this to death. I don't care where you came in on this, or where, whether this is interesting to you or not. It's all about me right now, apparently. Vision flows naturally from the desire to make a change, or to just simply be in better shape. Like, you're making the decision, like you're downloading my app, you want to like try it out, and you want to see if this thing that I've built can talk to you and work with you in such a way that helps you actually change your behavior. And then I'm putting all the things in there that I've studied and utilized over the years to try to control and change and regulate and put guardrails on my own behavior. So the first thing you're doing is you're saying, okay, I want to get in shape. I want to be better than I am right now. And then I'm saying, great, baselines. Where are you actually right now? Point A, right? And then from point A, we can say, simultaneously or prior to defining point A, we can say, man, it'd be really great to be in shape. Well, what does that look like? What's the ideal look like? Point I. So that comes after B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So there's a lot that needs to be done between point A and point I. Regardless, we are where we are, and that's why we define point A. And then we can think about where we would love to be. And that can be anything from who are the people you admire, who are the people you follow, and really doing an investigation into those people. Like, are they actually happy, or are they just, the influencer world out there is snake pit, right? As to like, what is it? Are these people real? They're showing off these bodies or this lifestyle. Um, I'm coming at this like, again, I'm a systems engineer from a blue collar town, lived a blue collar lifestyle, and have done some pretty amazing things. And I've been able to be around people that are astronomically successful. And I can't help but say to myself, damn, I would really like to be that successful. But I can't do it the way they did it. I don't have necessarily maybe the pedigree or the mentality. I'm not them. I'm me, right? So how do I build out this vision for myself as to like, how do I get there? And that is what took me from having a little idea of like, oh, maybe I could do some acting, but I'm in engineering. How am I going to get from engineering to acting or performing? And it's with this huge, seems like it's the other side of the universe. And so it's creating a vision that is all encompassing. It isn't black and white. It isn't, just all or nothing, yes or no. And I think that we fall into that as like, well, I need to be, the fittest guy ever. No, no, no. Just like picture what it is. Picture what it is. For me, it's like I got a brand new jujitsu gi, and every other Thursday I go to the jujitsu school and I do a jujitsu class. And that brand new gi I see, it's like, it's cool. I feel really proud to put it on. And then maybe once every other week, I do some stand up, right? I'm just talking about, again, indulging the things that you think will be really fun or cool or help you grow. And if I could throw in there a fishing trip once a month, I think I would probably be a lot closer to that ideal. And so I just said it here. I laid it out. It's like I have a vision of a guy who's like, I'm in great shape, but what are the things that I could do that are kind of lacking? It'd be great to have that community and the skill development of the jiu-jitsu school. It'd be great to have the creative outlet to kind of be able to say and do whatever I want on the stand-up comedy stage. And I love it. And I love connecting with people in that way. And then, getting out and going fishing. I live in the Northeast. If there's one thing that's accessible, right at our toes, literally the water's edge, is getting out and getting some surf casting fishing in with a buddy who, can put you on some big fish. So it's that type of experience. Those three things, if I added to my life, that vision makes me say, okay, so what do I value? Obviously I said some things in there. I value community. I value connection. I value the outdoors. Boom, right there. Just right in those three things. I value being fit. I value skill development, right? And then, so why? Well, because even just consider the contrapositive or the opposite. Like when I'm not doing those things, I feel like there's a big hole. I love my family. They're very important to me. I do devote most of my time and energy to my family. And that's the connection. That's the community. That's the legacy. That's the future. That's the, being a teacher and a guide. And I get to do that in my personal training as well. So I get a lot of the big items checked off the list. But when I look at putting all my energy into those things, I say, well, I'm not training as much as I would like in skill development, say martial arts, which is something I've always done. I love hunting and fishing, and for some reason that always comes last. And then, what was the other one? Oh, and stand up. I mean, that's just, again, that's like the dream of all dreams, and it's rewarding in the pursuit of that. So my mission, and so the thing is we're kind of going from wide to narrow. And so, why do I want to do these things? Because it's ultra, like, I feel pure satisfaction, connection, and those type of things. So the why is always a tricky one, and sometimes we kind of wiggle around the why to get to the top, to the mission. But the mission always keeps coming back to almost a little bit of a narrower focus, because if I neglect the mission for fishing, jiu-jitsu, and stand-up, then everything else falls apart. And the mission is being right here. This is the mission. The mission is execute design of an app that allows me to showcase engineering mindset in a health, wellness, and fitness capacity. Deliver that with value, precision, enthusiasm, and excitement to tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. And I'm going to have a lot more time to do stand-up, jiu-jitsu, and fishing. But don't sacrifice one for the other. All right. We talked a lot here. It was great. And if you tuned in, amazing. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. I'm just going to put these out whenever I can. And again, it's mission critical, so I make it happen. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.